We all know Anthropic has been struggling with one core issue in Claude Code, and that is memory consistency across your sessions. That's exactly why a few months ago, they introduced auto memory, a feature that gives Claude the ability to take notes on your project and persist context over time. But here's the issue: after 20 plus sessions, that memory starts to decay. You end up with messy, conflicting notes, outdated debugging steps, and vague timestamps like yesterday that completely lose meaning. Instead of helping, the memory actually becomes noise. And that's where hallucination starts to creep in. Now, quietly, without any official announcement, Anthropic had just introduced a feature called slash dream, also known as autodream. Think of it like REM sleep for your AI agent. It was found within their system prompt on GitHub, and it's a feature that automatically consolidates Claude's memory between sessions. It prunes stale or irrelevant notes, merges useful insights, and essentially cleans up the memory so it stays accurate and useful over time. So instead of memory getting worse, the more you use Claude, it actually improves. To use this new feature, just simply open up your Claude instance and then type in slash memory. Once you type this in, you should see this new feature called Auto Dream. Now, obviously, you're going to need to make sure you're on the latest update, but to toggle it on, just simply click enter and you're going to be able to now have it so that it is enabled and that you can use it directly behind your sessions. Now, this isn't an official command that you can basically use to invoke it. If you are to go back into your session, if you type in slash stream, it's not going to work. It will showcase unknown skill. And this is because it's not an official command yet. But if you are to do something like consolidate my memory using dream, it is going to then use and invoke that dream feature so that it could potentially fully clean up the full process of your memory system. It is going to be able to understand and run the full cleanup process using this new auto dream feature. And underneath the prompt bar, you'll see that it is stating dreaming, meaning that it has been turned on. And another way to invoke it is just by simply typing in dream in your prompt, auto dream, or just simply do what I did, consolidate my memory, which will trigger it manually by just simply using it without the slash dream command, which should be released soon. If you want the best AI tools, workflows, and drops before everyone else, join my free newsletter with the link in the description below, which is completely free. Now that you have Auto Dream turned on, Claude is basically running a background cleanup cycle on your entire memory system. It goes through every memory file, removes outdated information, resolves contradictions, and reorganizes everything so it actually makes sense. But why is it called dreaming? Well, this is because it's modeled exactly how our human brains work during our REM sleep. During the day, your brain is just collecting information, everything you see, do, and learn. But it can become quite messy, and that's why it's your short term memory. Then, when you sleep, your brain is replaying that information, strengthens what matters, deletes what doesn't, and organizes it into long term memory. That's exactly what AutoDream is doing. Auto memory is Claude's daytime brain. It just keeps taking notes every session. AutoDream, on the other hand, is REM sleep. It cleans, organizes, and strengthens those notes so they actually stay useful. Without this step, Claude was basically sleep deprived, and it is just making messy notes over and over again. Under the hood, AutoDream runs in four key phases. You first have orientation. This is where Claude scans all existing memory files and builds a map of what it already knows. Then we have phase two, and that is gather signal. Instead of reading everything, it searches for high value signals, like when you corrected it, important decisions, repeated patterns, or anything you explicitly told it to remember. From there, we move on to phase three, which is consolidation. And this is the big step where it is actually cleaning things up. It is something that will convert fake timestamps like yesterday into real dates. It removes outdated or wrong information, merges duplicate notes, and updates old decisions like switching frameworks. From there is the last step where it is going to prune and index. It is going to now clean up the main memory index so it stays short, relevant, and actually usable at startup. And this is how it is functioning with this four-step process. And something that you want to know is that AutoDream doesn't run consistently. It only triggers at least 24 hours after it has passed and that you have more than 5 sessions. This is going to prevent unnecessary processing that keeps active projects clean. So just keep that in mind. And if you're looking to get the system prompt for it, you can take a look at it in the description below, which I'll leave for this documentation. Something that I'll also want to state is that it can't touch your code, only memory files. It runs in the background, so you won't actually notice it. And it uses a lock system, so multiple instances don't break your memory. Now, you may wonder, when should you actually use it? Well, this is something that you can manually trigger, like how I just did by stating and invoking dream in my prompt. And you can essentially trigger it when you did a big refactor, when you changed a framework or tool. For example, if you're moving from Express to Fastify, you can essentially use this feature to have it invoke the new memory system. You can also use it when you had a lot of trial and error debugging, or when things start to feel inconsistent, or that when your coding session is starting to fall off. Basically, anytime your project is evolving, this is when you want to use the Dream feature. And what you'll actually notice is that once you run Dream, it is going to stop repeating outdated solutions. It is going to have fewer hallucinations and more consistent answers across sessions. Overall, this will enable better understanding of your project decision, which is a game changer. So essentially, you see that I was able to use the dream command to basically clean up my memory. And Claude basically did this by understanding the new project. It was able to create a structured memory file for it, which you see over here. And it even recalled previous memories in this case. It updated my global index as well, which is great, where it specifically created an MD for this project. It captured my full stack. It was also able to link it to my memory system, which is huge because it doesn't just store notes, it understood my full architecture. So in this case, if I was to normally just work on a project or just work on multiple projects, Claude would start mixing up a lot of these things, which is why it tends to hallucinate a lot. And it's not able to keep clear context of whatever you're working upon if you have multiple instances. In this case, it's able to keep a fair logic on everything that I'm doing within this project, where it's going to get a better understanding of the APIs, the logic, and even the framework that I'm using. In essence, Dream turns the project into reusable knowledge. Before, Claude was kind of like a stateless helper. It is something that I would have to start with from scratch every time I ran a new session. But now Claude builds a mental model per project. It keeps it clean every single time, and that is why it is a game changer. This feature should be coming out fairly soon. I would expect it to come out probably next week, early next week, because they are releasing a lot of auto features like auto mode, which just came out today. So I would expect it to come out probably early next week. If you like this video and would love to support the channel, you can consider donating to my channel through the super thanks option below. Or you can consider joining our private Discord, where you can access multiple subscriptions to different AI tools for free on a monthly basis, plus daily AI news and exclusive content, plus a lot more. But yeah, I'll leave all the links that I use in today's video in the description below. This is definitely a great new feature to Claude Code, and I personally believe it solves a lot of the memory issues that it had beforehand. But that's basically it, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video and got some sort of value. Make sure you go ahead and join our newsletter, join our second channel by subscribing. Make sure you go ahead and join our Discord, follow me on Twitter. There is also a new Claude model that has been leaked, so definitely go ahead and take a look at this. And lastly, make sure you guys subscribe, turn on the notification bell, like this video, and please take a look at our previous videos. Also, huge respects to Mehdi for always telling me to fix my audio track issue where it tends to blur out at the end of the video. So huge props to him for helping me on that. But with that thought, guys, have an amazing day. Spread positivity, and I'll see you guys fairly shortly. Peace out, fellas.